And now I'm going to share my screen. Step number one. So hopefully you should be able to see my my screen here. So welcome. We're going to be talking about storytelling with Sway, and I am Claudio Zavala Jr. Thank you so much for stopping by again for Global EdTech Academy. I want to say I've lost track of the number of weeks that I've been participating. I've been doing it since the start, and we did take a little bit of a break. And from Sri Lanka. Oh, I got 2 people from Sri Lanka. Cool. I'm so glad to have you here tonight for me. Good morning for you. Um, so been doing part of the Geta Q courses happening globally since the beginning, and I've been enjoying it. Right now it's summertime for me here. I'm in Texas, in the school district Burleson ISD, and my role in this district is to my title is digital designer, and my role is actually going to be leading the online virtual learning portion of our instruction. We are going to be starting off virtually in about a month, a little bit over a month. We got pushed back a bit, our start date, so we will be starting virtually. And so after the initial, would say, virtual start, we will have students that will decide to stay virtually. And I'm actually not going to be teaching those students, but I will be kind of working with the teachers and helping them getting those best practices for engaging students virtually online. It's very different than in person. And so that's my role. I grew up in California. So the people that mentioned California, La Jolla was actually close to where I grew up. A little town called Vista, California, which means view in Spanish. And there was some great views there. And I do miss family there, and food. It's very different. So I'm going to be talking about basically what I'm doing right now is sharing a story with all of you, and basically talk about I'm going to basically talk about storytelling, my approach to storytelling, and then using Sway to share a story. So I'm going to give you I'm going to go through 3 examples and kind of walk you through like the approach, the way that I'll jump in and show you what I did. And there's so many different ways to do things within Sway as a presentation tool. Obviously, you can use it as a web tool, sharing links. And so the way that I used it was, and when we get there, it's basically sharing a story. So before I jump into some of those examples, well, I want to ask you a question. And if you would type it into the chat. So here's the question to you. And make something here. What is storytelling to you? When someone says storytelling, what do you think of? What does it make you think of? So I'll give you a couple minutes to think and type it in there. While I do that, I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic. And actually, I'll add something too. So I see some great ones coming in here. So I'm going to start with some of the first ones there. Plot and good characters and a message. Great. Yeah. A lot of times the story is going to be why, kind of like that whole thing, putting it together, that plot, and then the characters around it. Definitely a message you want to share. Sometimes it's very explicit. Sometimes it's not. You got to kind of, infer. Then we have expressing feelings, moods, and sentiments. I put there sharing events, kind of like the way I was sharing and then fiction based on experiences, engaging emotions. A lot of times these stories, these storytelling, a lot of times will sometimes will tug at the heart, tug at emotions, sometimes makes us angry, makes us sad, makes us happy, makes it get we get we have empathy for characters or what's happening in the story, sympathy, and all those things. And really those are the stories and the ways that engage and engage. Those are the engage those that are listening to your story, reading it, watching it. So social and cultural activities, sharing emotion, awesome, etc. Yeah, all these are great, and there's really no wrong answer. It was my intent was not here to have it wrong. So storytelling is so many things, and so approaching it, kind of the approach that so I'll give you a little background. Now, if you kind of look around my room, if you can still see me, if you pinned the video, if you can still see, I have a lot of equipment behind me. I got all these microphone stands, and I got some light stands, and I got an instrument here, but all these things, phones, all these things I use to tell stories, and it can be a visual appealing story. I love shooting video. I love using my phone for shooting video. The camera that I'm using right now for webcam. I love taking photos and sharing those on Instagram, and then getting back into not so much with getting back into, but sharing music as well as another medium of sharing a story. You got those ebb and flows and stuff. So let me do a little background of storytelling before we jump in. So if we think of storytelling, is it how we, throughout history, stories were shared, how they portrayed a message. So if we go back, to when pictograms like this were being used, these were the approaches that were taken to document history, for one thing. Now, and then in sequential telling a story. Every time I watch the movie The Mummy, it's one of the, not the black and white movie, but I think it's kind of in the 90s maybe. Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz. When they're walking in and they're reading the hieroglyphs and interpreting what it's saying, it's because it's telling a story. And so let's imagine none of this survived. We wouldn't know a lot of history without the use of this form of storytelling. Then we fast forward fast forward a lot to when we had newspapers, and we had this daily paper. And I do remember in high school, going to high school, this how old I am, go to the library, and they had the racks with newspapers hanging, the New York Times, the LA Times. I grew up in California, so there's a lot more West Coast newspapers, but you had, those big newspapers, the Boston Herald. We would walk in, and I was, I love comics, but I also love sports. And, I was open up and read the comics. I want to say I haven't been I've been to the high school libraries, and I don't really see newspapers. It's still magazines, but, fast forward, these stories were told through these mediums like newspapers. And then fast forward some more, when we got into the telephone, we're sharing our stories over the phone, orally, sharing it. I felt, this is how funny, you were big time at home when you had the telephone, and you had the longest extension cord, about a 50-foot long cord, so you can actually sit in your bed and talk, and the phone was like 20 feet away. So that was big time. But that was just used as a form of communication, as a form of sharing a story. And then the TV came, and it's just another form of storytelling, comedy, drama, horror, news, all these different ways that stories were told. What the interesting thing about, I had a friend of mine who said, one of the bad things about TV growing up in the 80s was that problems were solved within 30 minutes. So the reality of life was not, you know, oh, how many of us have problems? It's not solved in the length of a TV episode, 30 minutes. But, Hollywood can solve these problems in 30 minutes. But, just kind of a little side note, but it is kind of interesting observation. And then, we come to where we're at now. We're using, like I mentioned earlier, we're using mobile devices to share stories. I would venture to say that many of us have a device like this, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's an Android. I do happen to have an Android too. So I do live in both worlds every once in a while. But yeah, the tool is just being used to share stories. And I say the word mobile device, but one of the great things about this being mobile is that we're able to go and tell stories pretty much from anywhere. So you're not stuck into a classroom. You're not stuck in an office. You can while you're taking a trip, right now we're not taking many trips, maybe little small road trips. Not many people are flying, but when we do fly, when we do travel, you can share your stories while you're sitting down, having a dinner or wherever. You can pretty much share your story from wherever you're at. So this was kind of just like a little bit of intro, a little bit of kind of get some background onto the storytelling when we're sharing it. If you're interested, and I will share this presentation with you. I have a link to this. This is a really cool graphic right here. Storytelling is a form of sharing and communicating, and this was really neat. Just the way communication has happened, going back 30,000 years, and documenting how communication, how storytelling, in essence, has transformed over time. And where we're at now, Twitter in 2006, YouTube in 2005, and going back Facebook 2004, blogging in 1999. Who remembers AIM? I don't remember AIM. Maybe I do. www. 1994. So more recent, and who knows where we're going to be 2021 next year, 2024, 25, what time, maybe we'll have kind of just communication with our eyes. And when I blink my eyes, I can share stories of what's going on. Like, I'm traveling and taking pictures. So, nobody steal that idea. We'll keep it to ourselves. Okay. Let me look at a little comment here. Was given various types of visuals when doing worship. Cool. Awesome, Marilyn. Thanks for sharing that. So here's what I'm going to do. So now jumping from this is the approach. So here's a couple of ideas and ways that using Sway to tell a story. And I kind of talked a little bit about my background because I do take that approach when I share stories. And one of the ideas, one way to use is this little activity. I call it guess where. This is a great kind of an icebreaker type of activity to use with Sway, is to guess where I am. So let me do this. Let me open up, or let me show you. So here is my Sway dashboard. So if you've not used Sway, this is sway.office.com. So I'm going to show you the Sway that I created and how you can use Sway as kind of an intro to getting to know each other, but even just kind of you can also use it if you're studying certain topics, let's say historical figures, maybe geographical locations. In this example, it's where am I? So let me do this. I'm going to do a copy this link. So I'm going to show you the finished first and let's see if you can guess. Now, some of you may be able to guess faster because of where you're at. So let me hit play here. Okay. So this is me. Where am I? All right. So you can say, if you're doing this with your students, it's one of those things like maybe guess the author, guess the historical figure. So you kind of give clues So just by using images. So the first text I have there's who am I? One of the cool things I like about Sway, see how it's kind of it did that. Call it Ken Burns effect. He's a documentarist, a documentary producer. I guess trying to think of a documentarian. I mean, that's the right word. I think I've heard that. It's an effect that he designed with images. See how it's kind of moving like that. So you can give motion to just images. Oop. All right, so scrolling down. Okay, so we went from the beach to here. So where am I? So again, just kind of a way to pique the interest of students. So this is a great, again, who am I, about me, and I keep scrolling through. Now I'm just using images, no text. Another one. Now I didn't take any of these photos. I actually used the search feature within Sway to do that, which is really neat. I love the way those lights reflect on that water. Here's another one. Okay. I think I got two more. So we go from that, and now we got kind of like a mountain sunset. And we go from the mountains to that almost sounded like a song, from the mountains to the sea. I don't know. You guys got to hear me sing a little there. So we have the beach, the cliffs, the waves. Okay, any guesses? So then what you'll do is on the last page or on the last image is you give the answer. So I know that somebody knows here because they're in that area, and this is, now for some reason I don't know why the word I typed, there it is down here at the bottom. If you can see, it's very tiny. It says San Diego. So this is San Diego, and so this is kind of a guessing of like where's Waldo, but where's Claudio. So this is actually kind of my hometown there. So using Sway as kind of a way to tell stories with images. It's so powerful to use just images to tell a story. And so quick question. How many have not used Sway before? Or is this, I'm going to say, is this the first time seeing Sway? So okay, cool. So we've got some first time, or did I ask the question right? Okay. Has anyone, okay. I can't even think of how to ask the question. I apologize. Okay, this is your first hearing, first time. Okay, cool. You know what? It's 9 o'clock over here in Texas, so my brain is getting close to, I guess, bedtime, and it's just a little tired. So, all right. So let me jump in and show you kind of how I put this together. So when I went back here, let me go back to the landing page Sway. So I clicked on Create New, and when I did that, this is kind of it started off. So you kind of have, it starts off with just this first cell up here at the top. So all these extras that I added weren't there. So every time you see the plus sign, that's just kind of the quick and easy adding something. So what I did here is, so let's click the plus button. And so here's a really neat thing about Sway is it basically gives you creative control on how you're going to share the story. Like I mentioned, I love using just images to tell a story, especially for this example. So then if I want just to share an image, I'll click image here. And then one of the neat things about Sway is it automatically opens up to kind of like a search using Bing, Wikipedia, YouTube. So YouTube for videos, Wikipedia for images, as well as Bing. And so let's say I type in, so here's what I did. I typed in San Diego, and it'll look up all these images. Now, one of the great things, here's a highly recommend when you are searching images. First off, if you can use your own, that's much better. But when you can't, because sometimes it's night like this and they're like, well, I can't go take a picture outside because it's too dark. So I may need to search for a free image. Right here, and hopefully you can see up here where I'm going to try to wiggle my mouse and see the arrow. Okay, right up here says Creative Commons only. By clicking on that, it's only going to give you results that are Creative Commons licensed. That means that you can use it without paying for it. So I would say it's free. So look what happens when I uncheck this. Oops, that's not what I want to do. So notice now it changes. Now it's going to have, I'd say, not Creative Commons images. Now, for the most part, using them in the classroom, you won't be. It's not going to be a huge issue, but for practice, and especially for your students, if you're using Sway at school, get them into the practice of using Creative Commons images. So I'll click it again. So it's going to change the results. Some of them are still there, but it's a best practice for digital citizenship and also just copyright law. And it just as they practice that, they become much better. I'm going to tell you, there's many adults right now that share images on social media, that use images for presentations that, I'm going to put in quotation, stole. It's not really stolen, but they don't have permission to use. So that's one thing I would highly recommend. Get into the practice of using Creative Commons images. So then getting back here, so let's say I want this, let's see. I like this right here. This is actually Balboa Park in San Diego. It's a museum. So I'll click here and drag it. See right there with this drag image here. And just like that. So in the background, it's automatically saving. So let me do this now. If I click here, let me go back to image again. I can also drag from my desktop to here. So if I have an image on my desktop, I can bring it in. I'm going to go ahead and just trash that for now. And so there's my image. And if I wanted to add a caption, now it just depends. The way this activity is, I don't want to add a caption because it's guessing. I don't want people to know. But if I did right here, I can add the caption. And again, it automatically saves. If I wanted to add bulleted items, numbers, now this right here, this is a really cool feature. So I'm going to show you. See right here how it's full and right here how it's not. Here's what's going to happen. Let me close this little box up here on the right. When I click here, see right here it says focus point. So see how it changes. So now let me hit play so I can show you. So here's the full page. And then see right there, see how it's inside this one? Well, I don't want that. I want the whole picture to fill the whole entire page. So let me go back. Let's go back here and let's go right there. Full page. Let's see what happens. Hit play. And there it is. Now it's full page. So especially for this activity, you want to go full page. You want to go full screen. A couple other examples I'll share with you is where you kind of can get creative on the placement. And then here's how I added the word Balboa Park. Again, but this activity, I don't want the word in the image. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So let me click here the plus sign just to show you what else is here. If you want to add text in between, you just click text. You can stack images kind of like in a group. Now I'm going to hop onto the other activity because that's where I'm going to show you the media and text option. So let me go back to Sway. And the next activity I'm going to share with you is using Sway to tell a story, kind of like what I did. Almost like journaling. It could be, you took a trip, just sharing where you were, something you did in kind of a sequential order. So what I did here is, this is a trip I took a couple years back. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to hit play because I want to show you what it looks like. So this is my Colorado bike trip. Notice the little play on rad. That was awesome. Colorado. That's a California thing. Rad. I grew up there. So now these pictures I actually took. These pictures I took while I was there. Most of these were taken with my phone. This one right here, well, the previous model, but basically the iPhone, because I had it in my backpack or I had it mounted on the bicycle, because this was a bike trip, and we were there for 5 days. So I kind of put together kind of like a journal of my trip. So I'm going to show you how you can tell a story like that in sequence. So let me scroll through, and so here's a little bit of text. What a trip. I got an early birthday present for my family to take a trip to Colorado. Rad emphasized to enjoy favorite outdoor activities. Mountain biking is one of the best gifts I've ever had. The memories of this trip are invaluable, and I'll forever be grateful for this getaway. And so what I did is I documented the days. So day 1. And so I actually went with a friend of mine. So here's the text, and then notice the difference. So here I have the image. So instead of doing the whole big image, now I'm doing little chunk pieces, little stories. So here's an image, and if I click the image, it kind of goes full screen. So I'm going to back out. And then here, so notice right here how I was able to kind of add some images down there. So now if I click here, then I can scroll through, hit the arrows, and kind of show you the images within that section, which is really neat. So let me back out. Notice there's another image loading underneath it, but check it out. When I click here, only those 4 images are showing because I grouped them. I'm going to show you how to do that. Really quick story about this place right here. If any of you ever watch on Food Network, I think it's called Diners and Dives, some show. Somebody told me about this place. It's been on that show for like best places to go eat. I think it's the guy with the blonde hair.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Thank you. This was on that show. So this is in Amarillo, Texas. So on the way to Colorado, we stopped and got this. We got there right when it opened, and it was delicious. It was good. So, hey, so here I am sharing a story with this image. So this is one of those great things about using like tools like Sway like this. You can kind of go off and share a story. So if a student was doing a presentation, that's just another way, you can have that oral sharing of the story. So here we go, day 2. And notice how this image, and I think you've already seen that bike kind of pop through there. So I took that picture too as well. So day 2 was we rode a trail. We started off with some good breakfast. And again, I'm gonna click here and show you. So as I click through that amazing breakfast, it was about 50 degrees. So we just cooked out in front of his garage. Just an amazing breakfast. And again, the really neat thing is I can just clump those pictures together. Now with it in that same day too, this was kind of like the start. So here I have a video, which is really neat, is adding a video in here. I'll go ahead and hopefully you can hear it. I won't play the whole minute there, but can you hear it? So really neat to be able to drop in. I'm going to turn that down. Really neat to be able to drop in. So I'm going to let it continue to play. So as I scroll, it's still going through, which is really neat. This is one of the cool features about Sway is being able to add different multimedia within the same page. So I've got some static images, and then I can use video as well to enhance the story and share it with you all. Every time I look at this, I can't wait to go back. It's such a fun trip. One of the things about there, if you ever go to Colorado, is we're called lowlanders down here in Texas because of the sea level. It was hard to breathe. And so I think you have to be there a couple days before you actually start to kind of get acclimated. So here are just some more pictures. You scroll through. Just such an awesome time, a great time. One of the things too, when I share stories is I if you go out and take pictures, really, here's a tip. I say great tip. A tip that take pictures from different angles, places that you would normally not take pictures of. Those are the pictures that makes people kind of like, what is that? Interesting. And just to kind of add a little bit of flavor to the picture. So as you're sharing your story, my goofy picture, and the three of us. Now, this was for me, this picture right here, this was one of the coolest moments there. I'd never seen a dam that's been built by a beaver. So this is a beaver dam. So there's their home right there. And then right here's the dam. This right here was probably about 5 feet tall. And it's one of those things I hear about. I've read about beavers, seen pictures of beavers, but to actually see a beaver dam in their home, and it just, this picture, it was like, I have to take a picture. And the youngest of 3. So here again, some more close-up pictures. Okay, so to kind of get the idea, so just scroll through. So now let me go to the back end. So I'm going to click on edit and kind of show you how to put those pieces together. So when you're putting your story together, if you want to chunk pieces together, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So first off, just like the other one, here's the picture. I'm sorry, here's the first, I should say slide, I'll call it slide. And then the image, same thing, hit the plus sign. And what I did here is clicked on text, and I was able to add this little text card right here. So I'm just going to do some gibberish there. So if I hit play again, oops, play, there it is right there. Sometimes it takes a while to save. There's that little bit of text that I just added. So if you want to add kind of text in between, that's the way to do it. Go ahead and trash that. Now here in this next section, if you can see right here, it says day 1, on day 2. So here I have the kind of like chunked pieces of the story in here. And so let me expand that. And so kind of the way I did this here is kind of the same process up here. So let's hit the plus sign, and let's do, actually, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to hit that because I'm going to do day 3 here. So we're going to go heading day 3, and I have pictures over here. If I can remember day 3, I think this is what we did. Yes, right. Okay, here we go. So this is kind of like the day 3 intro. Now what I did here is hit the plus sign, and I'm going to add an image. Now it says right here, drag image here. Let's close that. So what I have here, let's see, I'm going to see if I can show you. So here's kind of like my images that I have on my computer. So I did this. I'm going to click several of these. And let's do this one here. Okay, now what I did is I think I clicked about 4 of them. Let's do one more. And I dragged all 4 here. Now see what that, see kind of that highlights right there? And I'm going to go ahead and release it. So what it did automatically, it see these little dots, right? These little boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. because I kind of drop those in together, it automatically groups them together. So one of the nice things about that is it's a time saver, especially if you have your own images. Now, if you're going to use the search one, kind of do one at a time, you could always go back and hit the plus sign or hit that little box and group them together. So this is just a process. It's taking time. Now here, because this is not kind of like a guessing thing, I can add a caption here. It takes a while for it to pop up. Let's hit that. Group these together. So now let's hit play. And let's see how that section looks like. Day 1, day 2, and here's day 3. So there's kind of like a gallery of the images. And then you click on the images and you can scroll through. Now some of my pictures look very pixelated because I think I've like over processed them and didn't save the high res. So now if I want to add a video here, so then I just hit the plus sign down here, and right here where it says media, there's several ways. So you can again add an image. If you have the video on your computer, just click the video and upload it. If you have audio, you can insert kind of like an audio card. Now, what I did is with that YouTube video. So let's jump back to that YouTube video here. Let's see, details. I want to delete it. Excuse me. Let's do this. Let's hit play. So I can kind of show you how I did that. So if you want to embed a YouTube video, here's the video. I'm going to go ahead and click here. Wait for this little thing to go away. Okay, hit share. There we go. So what I did, here's the video. And so any YouTube video, down here where it says share, you hit embed, and here you want to copy this. So I'll hit copy. Right here, it's going to copy all that code for you. So then we come back over here and let's go to edit. We're going to add that video. We're just going to add it again. It's okay. Here we go. Media, embed, and right there, we're going to paste that code. The great thing is about it, you don't have to know what that code is. All you got to do is paste it in. It's maybe there, and let's click on play and see what it looks like. Oops. I went too fast. Okay, here we go. Day 2. Now we're coming up on day 3. It's going to be the same video, but I just wanted to show you. There it is right there. So there's that video. And again, when I went in, let's go back down to the video. Details. Now right here, if I hit this, let's see. Oh, it looks like I think it should fill the whole page now. A little singing for you. There, see how it filled the whole page? So you can either have small links like that, a medium, or like a full page like this. So this is like insane, fill the whole screen here. So there it is. So it just depends how you want. It's a preference. So it's a little big. We'll go with the middle one. And so here's, again, another example of using Sway, sequential story, journaling, kind of sequence of events, lifetime events, what's happening in your classroom, field trips is a great tool to use for that. All right, So we've got one more example, and this one here is going to be very quick. Hit play here. So this is a Sway is another great way to use with your students, even for yourself, is to create a portfolio, even almost like a visual resume. It's never too young to start learning about how to tell your story to potential employers in the future. College admissions interviews, that's another great way to use Sway. Create your story. The best person to tell the story is you. And so here's a great example is by creating a portfolio. So let's go through here. This is actually my daughter's artwork. So she gave me permission. She has a page of her own. She uses another tool to create this page. And so I said, hey, can I use some of your pictures? So she's a big Billie Eilish fan. Maybe a little fan myself. When she's in the car, I'll listen to it. It's cool. So yeah, she drew that. She painted that. And then this is her. And what I did here, so again, creating this profile down here, is I added this text. So if I click it, this is her. I'm an artist. I'm an athlete. I'm a believer. I'm a learner. Click it. Who am I? And then just some mandala. I'm not saying it right. I don't think. Artwork, this type of art. And so just took a couple of her examples. There's the pictures that she has of some of her artwork. So I did a full page, just kind of boom, right here. These are different ones, different artwork. So it's not showing the full picture. So I'm gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that right now, because I can't see the whole picture. So that's easy. Let's fix it. So I'm gonna go back here. Same process that we did earlier. Here's the I know what I used a glide show for this one. So that's a different tool. So that's kind of a slide show. I think that's what it said. So let's go back down. Yeah, slideshow. So if I click here, and so that's what it's a slideshow. So if I don't want a slideshow, let's do this. Let's ungroup them. And we're going to uncheck these. And let's see how it looks like now. So now each of them are their own image. There we go. That looks better. Now you can see the whole artwork. So now if I click through, there we go. And then, so I just took a couple of pictures. I didn't recreate her whole portfolio, but it's basically just to kind of show an example. So she is in art, so it's a great way to kind of keep track of her artwork. So if you have students in art, students in any kind of a career tech type of program, maybe photography, film, production, beautician school kind of classes. There's what's the other class? Architecture, drafting, construction, and really pretty much any other type of class. Definitely, it's a great tool to use to keep track of their work and portfolio. And so, again, just kind of the same process. First card, added a second card of the image, and then, if I wanted to group them again, can do that. And if I want a different type of group, so let me show you. See right here, it says group type. We can create kind of a stack. So let's see what the stack looks like for all of them. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drag this in here. See that little green line? That's having me add to this group. So let's go to group type. Let's see. Let's try stack. Let's see what a stack looks like. And let's go medium size. Let's hit play. Screen. Stack. Nice. Tap to flip through. That is very cool. Check that out. That is really neat. One of the great things about this is you don't have to be a coder. You don't have to know web coding to do this. It's all done for you. All you got to do is just plug it in, drop it in. Let's see. What else do we got? Group type. Let's see, that's automatic. Grid, let's check that out. Let's see what that looks like. And the more you add, the more options you make, be creative as far as how you want to do it there. Okay, so that's that one there. I like that. I like a stack. That just looks really neat. Yeah. So kind of in a nutshell, that's kind of a couple of examples using Sway. So let me go back to the page. So what you can do as well. So here are the sways that I created. So let's say I wanted to share this with you all. So I click on those three little dots. And here's a chain link. Depending on the settings for sharing, anyone with this link can view. So I'll click and I'm going to open up a new window. Let me open up another browser window that doesn't have the login. And so now let's say I'm a prospective employer or school, so I can look at her work. So this is something. So now I can click through here and view. So again, here I don't have any editing rights. So see right here it says share. I'm viewing it as kind of a guest. Let me close that out. Close that. And so that is kind of a quick run through of Sway. Let me go back to my presentation. Let me find it. Okay, there we go. So let's see. So I've got some couple other ideas. I think I might have already mentioned these. Sequencing. I talked about me journaling. Classroom webpage. I think I might have mentioned that, but there's another great use for Sway, creating a web page, even your own teacher page. I don't know if you have to use certain web pages at your campus. I know in certain district I was in, you had to use a specific site, so you may not be able to, but maybe for parent, maybe like communication, it's a great way. Class journaling, kind of sharing ideas. So kind of some other examples to use Sway. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up for some questions. If you have any regarding to storytelling with Sway, I do see that some people probably got a little bit late for you all, so I had to kind of hop out. And if there are no questions, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of jump with kind of sharing some of my information here. If you are interested, I do have a YouTube page. I do share. Storytelling is one of my passions, and there's different tools that I use to share stories, and Sway is one of them. And I talk a lot about using tools like mobile devices. Yes, so the link. Thank you for reminding me. So let's do that. Let me find the file over here. And let's see here. I did it today. Let's find the file. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's cross fingers here that this works right. Okay, everyone, I'm going to drop in the link. Now, in the presentation, actually, it's not in there. Actually, I have it over here. Let me drop this in. No, actually, it should be there. Let me go back. Maybe I didn't add it. Format, maybe document. Okay, it's not in there, so that's easy to fix. Let's find it over here. So while I'm looking for this, did that link work for you all? Let me know. And then this link is a link to this page right there that I'm sharing, kind of in case you want to read about it. So those are the two links, one to this image here and then to the slide. So let me know if you're able to access it. Let's see here. Okay, do a quick. Did it work for you all? Let's make sure. Give me a thumbs up. Let me do stop sharing here. And let me know if it works. And if not, last time what we did is we just I shared my email, or we did it through Twitter. In fact, I could probably test it over here on myself too. Oh, it's asking me to log in. Okay, let's try. The first link didn't work. Okay, here we go. It just doesn't like me. Okay, we're gonna try it this way. So I did I preloaded the presentation, and thinking it would be available. So, but I didn't load it into this session, so that's probably what happened. Okay, it's kind of going through loading right now. It's about halfway there. Well, hey y'all, while this is doing an upload here, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging with me. For those of you early in Sri Lanka, very cool, and those hanging with me on the Easter or Central Standard Time right here in the US. It's a little bit late, and my friends out in the West, not as late as over here. Okay, get a few, hopefully a few more minutes while we wait for that to load. Well, hopefully this has been helpful for you all in sharing some different ways that you can share stories using Sway. One of the things that I highly recommend with Sway is um, because it's automatically saving. It's almost like if you mess up, all you have to do is just trash it and you can start over. It's one of the great things about saving in the cloud, not having to worry. Okay, here we go. Let's. Okay, it's sending. Crossing fingers. It's really just jumping in and trying it out. Trial and error is a great way. And kind of what I shared with you is grouping the images, using the search feature for images, and then adding text. And kind of really the sky's the limit on how you can kind of organize it together. One thing I didn't demonstrate with Sway. I like doing stories this way, up and down, instead of right and left. That's just a personal thing, but you can go into Sway and change design the way that displays. So if you prefer kind of the sliding right, left to right, you can change it. So I like the up and down. It's just one of my preferences. Almost like, I guess it's almost like watching a movie in the theater. You know, you see the credits going like this, because when you can't see it, but in film you're kind of going like this. You know, it is scrolling up and down. It's just moving so fast, frames per second. You can't see each frame. Kind of my nerdy video background. Awesome. Okay, did the link work? I just want to make sure before we part ways. I want to make sure it worked. Oh my goodness. Why is this not cooperating with me? Okay, I'm gonna try. Let's see if this works. Okay, we're gonna try this way. Okay. That's so weird. It just doesn't let me do that. Okay, yeah, it's saying login. Okay, I uploaded it to this section. When I try to click the link, okay. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna try one more time. Okay, all else fails. I did this last time and I don't mind doing it. I'm going to share my email address. Maybe I have to change the rights here. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm not going to give up. Okay, yeah, it's not even letting me access it. Okay, let's do this. Just send me your email. Just shoot me an email there. I will share it with you. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's try one more thing here. Let's see if this works. Oops. I wonder if it's just the file's too large. Okay, just sent a file there, see if it works. All else fails, just shoot me an email. I will share it with you. This is strange. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna have to email it to you all. If for some reason it's not letting me share, and I'm not able to access the file myself when I open it in the browser. So I may have some settings not working. So feel free to email me. I will share it with you that way. We'll do that. So in fact, I can kind of look right now my email, see if anyone's sent it or asked permission. Let's see. Okay, yeah, just shoot me an email. I will send it and share it with you all. Apologies for that. I don't know why it's not working. Okay. I will send it with you. I'm saving your email there. What do we type in for your YouTube? My YouTube is, if you go to youtube.com, I am Claudio. This is my YouTube channel right there. If you want to just copy that. And let me make a note. I did copy your email there. Ashani, I hope I said your name right. I'll send that over a little bit later tonight. But hey, everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. Again, don't forget to email me, and I will email you the link. I'll stay here for a few more minutes. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, and I'm going to go ahead and also turn off my camera. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I'm going to also go ahead and stop recording.